Greetings, I'm over here at the Stillwater Scenic Trail. We're going to do a little bit of footage over in this area. This is one of the most popular hiking trails in Smithfield, Rhode Island. It's a short trail, really only about, I think, 2 miles out and back, but there are other trails off to the side which we can check out that will add on some mileage. The great place about this is it's an easy walk with good views of the Woonasquatucket River. So let's go check it out and see the history of this place. So this trail was actually an old railroad track, just like the ones that we had explored earlier on the ghost hunt. And there is the Woonasquatucket River right there behind the trees. Up ahead we have Nick. We're going to be filming an unrelated media video today in addition to our hike. And above us you can see these trees with these vines that have grown all the way up the branches. So let's see what awaits us on this trail. All right, we're coming up at the edge of the river. Now, on a more dry day, you can actually cross these rocks, and there's trails on the other side that lead to the abandoned Stillwater Mills. Right now, the water level is higher, as you can see, so we're not gonna be able to get across, but right there is the trail on the other side, and there's the river flowing. So we got some great views of the river today. These were the rivers that would power the old mills right here. The mills that are up further on the trail that were explored in an earlier video. But this river right here has a lot of history behind it, and it helped power the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century. Right now you can see we're standing on the old train tracks. They buried them, or they actually physically removed the rails and probably reused them for something else. The old Stillwater Mills are behind those bushes over there. As we get a little bit closer, we may be able to see them, and we're also going to be able to see there's a bridge that used to connect this trail over the river to get to the mills, but it's since collapsed, and you can actually still see the initial foundation over there. So let's go check it out. All right, so check this out. This was the old train tracks right here, which is now the Stillwater Scenic Hiking Trail. And as we go this way, this was the old bridge that would connect the train tracks to the mills, which are on that side of the river. You can see those old steel remnants in the woods?
Yes, you can just about see part of the mill through the woods. It's just the top half with the window blown out. But you can see it from here. You can see some steel beams they used during the construction over here. But yeah, most likely the railroad would go right up to the mill. Yep. And that's where in our last video, remember we saw the bit of the balcony slash the loading dock?
They took the...
That's why it was such a nice flat trail along the water. The train would come right across these beams here. They call them shoring, but they'd go right up to the mill. They'd load all the heavy textiles and fabrics. Didn't have forklifts, did it by hand, and they would get right back on the railroad and be able to go to Providence or Worcester, drop off textiles, whatever they're making at the mill.
Yeah, see, and you can see now the tracks are gone, and it's just a bunch of concrete blocks remaining.
If you guys want to see where the train would go right up to, in our video about the Stillwater Mill, it's where we found the beam that was in an inverted railway track. They used it as a beam to support the balcony to actually load the rail cars.
Okay, so on the other side are those abandoned mills that we had seen in the last video. These concrete blocks could be hundreds of years old right here. Can you see the mills right there, Nick?
Yes, actually I can see the mills right there. I can see how the train would go right up to them. That's why it was so nice and level leading up to the mill. It looked like it was a road of some sort. But you realize rail was the main form of transportation. Nobody had a personal car back then when these mills were bustling. So that's why they prioritized the railroad. It went right up to the mill, got some textiles and brought them to the major cities like Providence and Worcester in the area.
It's insane how this small hiking trail in this suburban town has so much history and so much linkage to the Industrial Revolution. I just find that out of control.
Well, a lot of these areas were big for farming, or it's really geologically, they had a river here. The reason why they build the mills in these areas is because when they know by surveying that they can flood an area and make a little waterfall here, control the water level, they build a mill in that spot. So this happened to be farmland, and it happened to be a little bit of a town here. So they build this dam so they can lower it and raise it. When they want the power, they'll lower it and let the water flow through to turn the wheel, to turn all the textile machines. So that's why these mills aren't put in random spots. That's why they're always on a pond. They actually made this into a pond. Highly do I doubt that this was actually a pond before the mill came here. There was a low area of land with a river. They build the dam, they only have to raise it a couple feet and it'll flood the whole area. That's why these mill ponds are usually not very deep.
Look at that, that's huge.
It's awfully big, it's a man-made pond. It's usually a reservoir of some sort.
So right now, guys, we're on a lesser known trail. If you take a left off the main train tracks, these are the trails that cut through the power lines. These power line systems go all up and down the east coast of Florida, and one cuts right through the town of Smithfield. And there's these hiking trails that are on the side of them most of the time. Sometimes they go through marshes or swamps, but in Smithfield, there's an area right here called Wolf Hill, which will be filmed in a later video. These trails from the Scenic Trail lead to Wolf Hill, and they actually go down quite far. You can follow them at least down through the state of Rhode Island. The views are beautiful except for these large power lines, but that's why the area has been cleared out, so it gives you a good clear view of some shrubbery and open skies. Let's continue to walk up the trail. There is an incline. It gives you like a little bit of a simulated mountain experience. I just ran up, made it to the summit of the Scenic Trail hill. To my behind right here is Capron Road, which will, if you cross the street and continue to follow the Powerline Trail, you will get to Wolf Hill. And it flattens out around this point. There's a huge ice slick right there, so I'm not going to bother crossing it with just regular shoes. But let's head back down now. That was a nice little workout, and you got some good elevation here. Like climbing a small mountain right here in Smithfield. Right here is one of those homes that they actually put into the rocks in Smithfield's trails. This has been very faded by the sun, but all across Smithfield, somebody put these little plaques on every different individual hiking trail with a small poem on it. So
I can read it to you guys if you'd like. So it says, "Walk with me. If you seek change, the water provides change." It's very sun faded here, guys. If you seek cleansing, the Savior provides cleansing. If you seek trust, the rocks provide trust. If you seek thought, the rocks provide thought. If you seek shelter, the trees provide shelter. If you seek peace, the trees provide peace. I am the water, I am the rock, I am the tree, I am you. So you can take that a bunch of different ways, but it's a nice poem they have riveted into the rock, actually.
I don't know if you've seen, Nick, but every hiking trail in Smithfield has one of these at least.
Do we know who puts these up? Or is
I have no clue. It must be the town, but Connor's Farm has one. Wolf Hill's got one. Everyone's got one.
If you're the guy leaving these up, leave a little cryptic message on one of the comment section of these videos. We want to hear from you and hear more about these little poems you're making. But
and the origin, yeah.
The origin, and we want to know the deep meaning behind these things, but we like what you're doing, buddy. Keep it up.
Guys, right here we're coming up on the bridge. This is George Washington Highway, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so this goes over the Woonasquatucket River, and let's go explore this area. This is at the end of the Smithfield Scenic Trail, so let's see what awaits us up here for some nice urban exploration and some cool views. this place. Oh wow, this looks like something from the ancient Roman times, huh?
They use the traditional arches to distribute the weight where it goes over the river. So you get some Roman-esque vibes. Also, when we're walking up here, you can see the rail on the side of the bridge is, they use the little pillars for it. So yeah, it could look somewhat historical or Roman-esque if you think about it.
So this is part of the cool thing of urban exploration mixed in with some hiking. We got some nature earlier on this trail, and then we end up going to some areas that show this more brutalist architecture mixed in with the history of the river. So we have a nice mix of both natural views in this hike, and then also these amazing areas, architecture that we can explore, showing human ingenuity. Look at that. Alright guys, so we just did the scenic trail end to end past the bridge, and we are now back at the main entrance from earlier. So we're going to wrap this one up. This is one of the most popular and interesting places in Smithfield to hike. If you hike end to end, I believe it's 2 miles on the main trail, and then you can take the left or the right depending on which way you're facing to go up the hill and see the top of the view where Cape and Road is. So I highly suggest checking the place out, and I will see you in the next hike.